Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we are going to unpack a topic that is absolutely crucial for modern legal practices. We're looking at a law firm's biggest and often most hidden revenue leak, the manual client intake process. We're going to explore exactly how engineering an automated intake chain isn't just some boring administrative upgrade, but a massive growth engine. In fact, getting this right can boost your conversions by up to, wait for it, 300%. Let's get started.
To really wrap our heads around this opportunity, we first have to confront a pretty staggering reality. 60%. According to industry data, 60% of calls to law firms go completely unanswered. Just think about that for a second. This represents an immediate, massive top-of-funnel capital loss. These are distressed callers seeking urgent legal help, and well, more than half the time, they're met with absolute silence.
But here is where we completely flip the script. Contrast that massive leak with this incredible payoff, 300%. By engineering an automated intake chain that drives your response time down to a sub-5-minute window, firms have been shown to boost their conversion rates by up to 300%. It literally changes the entire financial trajectory of a practice. Now, you might be wondering why this process is so broken in the first place. Well, the data shows that legal professionals are spending, on average, only 29% of their time on actual billable work. The remaining 71%, it's entirely consumed by administrative friction. We're talking data entry, system switching, and manual intake chores. Attorneys are absolutely drowning in admin tasks instead of executing billable legal strategy, and for sure, it is costing firms dearly.
Section 1. The leaky revenue funnel, where firms lose clients.
You see, these predictable leakage points are happening across the entire client acquisition journey. It's like a bucket with holes all over it. At the top of the funnel, the most severe leak happens before a conversation even starts, unreturned first contacts. Then, in the middle of the funnel, prospects stall out during qualification and conflict checks. I mean, 3 to 5 business days just to manually search disparate databases? By day 2, highly qualified prospects have already ghosted you for a faster competitor. And finally, at the bottom of the funnel, prospects who verbally agreed go completely cold while waiting for someone to manually draft and email a PDF engagement letter.
Section 2. The 5-minute mandate. Speed dictates conversion.
Prospects today are remarkably impatient. And honestly, can you blame them? They've been completely conditioned by on-demand digital services. Here's the crazy part. If a firm responds within 5 minutes, they are 21 times more likely to qualify the prospect than if they wait just 30 minutes. A delay of just 5 minutes results in a 10% drop in lead contact rates. And if you wait 60 minutes, the likelihood of successful contact drops by a factor of 10. Oh, and let's be honest, the assumption that a caller will leave a voicemail and wait patiently is totally obsolete. 85% of callers who reach a voicemail never even leave a message. Speed is everything.
So what does this all mean? It means you have to measure this. If you're an operations leader, you need to implement a strict intake funnel audit framework. You need to track these specific KPIs over a continuous 30-day period to diagnose your precise financial damage. You should be targeting a time to first response of under 5 minutes, a consultation booking rate of 50% or higher, and an intake form completion rate of at least 70%. Because without these baseline metrics, your intake workflow is basically operating in the dark.
Section 3. Automating the intake chain. End-to-end digital integration. Okay, let's step out of the problem and into the solution. An automated system connects all those disparate manual touchpoints into one single continuous digital workflow. It operates sequentially through 5 distinct phases: capture, routing, conflict checking, document collection, and finally, matter opening. Let's break these down so you can see exactly how this removes the human bottleneck and supercharges your firm. In phases 1 and 2, the automation kicks in the exact moment a prospect initiates contact. Advanced AI chatbots on your website capture leads 24/7, relentlessly answering basic questions and screening out unqualified cases while your team is literally asleep. Then dynamic routing takes over. Using complex conditional logic, the system instantly categorizes the lead by practice area and pushes all that critical data directly into your internal channels like Slack or Microsoft Teams, notifying the right attorney instantly. No copying and pasting required.
Then we hit phase 3, which is where we eliminate that massive 3 to 5 day middle-of-the-funnel leak. Instead of administrative staff manually hunting through systems using different spellings, custom software executes an automated API call. It instantly normalizes the data,
meaning it knows John Smith and Smith John are the exact same person, which saves your staff from playing detective. It then cross-references this against systems like Clio, Filevine, or MyCase simultaneously. This happens in seconds, guys, not days.
And finally, phases 4 and 5. If the conflict check is clean, the system dynamically generates an engagement letter using the exact data captured way back in phase 1. It emails a secure DocuSign link. Once signed, a webhook triggers the magic. It automatically creates a new matter in your practice management system, sets up the billing ledger, and provisions a client portal, all without a single keystroke of data re-entry from your staff. The whole shebang, totally automated.
Section 4. SaaS versus custom integration. Choosing the right fit.
Now, you're probably wondering what kind of software actually makes this happen. Packaged software-as-a-service tools like Clio Grow or Lawmatics are great for standard, high-volume consumer practices because they deploy so quickly. But they offer pretty generic workflows and basic ecosystem checks. If you're a multi-practice firm or heavily referral-driven, you're going to need a custom integrated system. Custom systems provide a tailored workflow fit and deep multi-database API queries. If your firm is forced to use manual spreadsheet workarounds to compensate for a generic SaaS limitation, your true operating cost is already eclipsing that software's monthly subscription fee.
So, what does a custom build actually look like financially? Based on benchmarks, a minimum viable product, or MVP, focused purely on lead capture, data standardization, and automated conflict checks, ranges from $40,000 to $120,000, taking about 2 to 4 months. But actually, the brilliant part here is rapid, agile deployment. You don't wait months for some massive, terrifying launch day. Leading engineering teams deliver iterative functional updates so you start seeing return on investment almost immediately as each phase goes live.
Section 5. The 300% conversion payoff. Reclaim market share.
Let's bring this narrative full circle back to that 300% number. Speed is a direct multiplier of revenue. Because 78% of clients retain the very first firm to respond, collapsing your response time to under 5 minutes captures massive market share that was just defaulting to your competitors. Firms utilizing these digital tools observe 48% more client leads and generate 53% higher revenue than those relying on manual, leaky processes.
To put that into perspective, let's look at some concrete numbers. For a mid-sized firm with an average case value of $10,000, recovering just 4 previously lost prospects a month generates $480,000 in top-line annual revenue. Think about that. This means that recovering your administrative capacity and simply snagging the leads you were already paying to get can pay for an entire comprehensive custom software build within just the first 2 quarters.
Beyond just immediate cash flow, there's an ultimate strategic advantage here that we call the analytics dividend. An unmeasured funnel completely obscures marketing waste, but a custom, automated system gives you real-time visibility into exactly which channels, whether it's organic search, specific referral partners, or paid ads, are actually producing retained clients. This exact source of business intelligence informs incredibly smart, aggressive budget reallocation away from unqualified calls and into high-value velocity.
I really want to leave you with this incredibly powerful takeaway from our source material today. As it brilliantly puts it, the distinction between a highly profitable, growing law firm and a stagnant one is the operational velocity of the client intake process. This perfectly highlights that in today's on-demand market, it's not just your underlying legal expertise that differentiates you anymore. Your technological speed is the true modern differentiator.
Which brings us to our final provocative question for you to consider. Is your firm's intake process a finely tuned revenue engine, or is it a leaky bucket? It's time to rigorously audit your inefficiencies, ditch that manual friction, and radically rethink your approach to client acquisition. Thank you so much for joining me in this explainer today, and I highly encourage you to start measuring your intake velocity tomorrow.